Hey, ladies. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. We're the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. And I am not going to be on here long. First of all, like the video as you're listening and put replay in the comment section if you are catching a replay, or better yet, tell me what you think about this specific thing. So, most of you know that Erica Williams has a Breaking Into Tech Facebook group. And if you don't know who Erica Williams is, she is a YouTuber in the Black entrepreneurship, Black financial literacy, Black investing space. And she has a Facebook group called Breaking Into Tech because part of what Erica talks about is how more people can break into technology, how more people can break into other high-paying professions. And one of the big ones she has focused on is getting people to break into technology. So y'all know I'm a mortgage loan officer and I know various people. So I'm calling around, letting people know, promoting myself, letting people know that I'm in the mortgage business and I speak to somebody who is in Erica's Facebook group for Breaking Into Tech. And he's telling me, about it. We're just kind of talking and he mentions it. And I said, oh, okay, how's it going in there? And he was telling me, oh, she's got 60,000 people in the Facebook group. And I said, yeah, I heard that she's doing really well with the Facebook group with regard to the numbers. And he said, yes, Cherie, but most people are having trouble breaking into tech. And I said, well, why are they having trouble? And you know what he told me? He told me, Cherie, the reading comprehension rates are really bad. I said, what? He said, yeah. He said, there are a lot of people, he didn't say most or all, he just said a lot. He said there are a lot of people that cannot read sufficiently enough to break into tech. I was shocked. I wasn't shocked that people didn't know how to read, but I was shocked. I don't know why I was shocked. It just took me aback for a second because it's hard. It's hard for people who are illiterate, who are functionally illiterate, who cannot read for comprehension to make big changes in their lives. It's very difficult. And I know I'm super hard on you ladies when it comes to if you live in certain zip codes. If you live in certain zip codes, if your children live in certain zip codes, people are going to assume that they cannot read and they cannot do math. It doesn't matter if they have A's and B's on their report cards. People are going to assume you can't read and do basic mathematics based on the zip code that you live in and the education that you've had. And that's the reason why I push you ladies so much, that you need your multicultural networks, you need your technical skills, you need your soft skills, and as best you can, if you can, move outside of certain zip codes. And it's a mean thing to say, but it's true. If you can move outside of certain zip codes, the best thing to do is do that. Because so many people want to break into tech. They want to break into tech in this Facebook group and they can't because they are functionally illiterate. And they're literate enough to be a food services worker or something like that, but they're not literate enough. They don't have enough reading comprehension skills to break into tech. And believe me, I don't think breaking into tech requires more than 8th grade literacy. I don't, right? But I was looking at this article from The Hill. It's a couple of years old, but it still applies. There was a woman running for Virginia Lieutenant Governor named Winsome Sears. And I think she won. I think she is currently the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. She's a woman from Jamaica, I believe, honestly. And uh, this reporter asked her, hey, what's wrong with Virginia and how can it be fixed? And she says that 84% of Black students in the eighth grade lack the ability to do math, and 85% of Black students are functionally illiterate. This is according to the National Assessment of Educational Progress. 85% of Black students, that's across the state of Virginia. So you can imagine it's across the nation as well. 85%. Doesn't matter if you go to a great school, doesn't matter if you go to a school in the hood, or if your children do. 85%. So when people look at us, yes, they think, oh, this is probably somebody who can't read, can't write, functionally illiterate, unless you're above a certain age range, right? And being illiterate, the inability to do eighth grade math and eighth grade reading comprehension is keeping people from breaking into tech. Or if they can break into tech, they'll never get beyond the lowest rungs of tech, making $50K a year. And yeah, you may have one or two people that can figure out a way to bust through, but for the most part, we are failing because of this. So I don't know why I was so surprised, but I was when he told me that. He told me that the primary reason that people cannot break into tech, based on the group that he saw in Erica's Breaking Into Tech group, the primary reason was because they lack reading comprehension skills. And it's true. And now with Project 2025, and look, I'm not triggered by Project 2025, but I understand that certain people are. So I'm just going to make this comment. Now with Project 2025, they want to get rid of the Department of Education, and ultimately the Republicans want to put education back in the hands of the parents and having more kids homeschooled or having more kids going into certain types of schools. So now if you have parents that can't read and grandparents that can't read, what's going to happen to the kids? And you can't say to me, Cherie, the public schools today are teaching the kids how to read. Apparently not. Something is happening. And I'm here to tell you as well. As somebody who changed careers a couple of years ago, the bar is low when it comes to breaking into a new industry and being excellent. The bar is low. Unemployment is high. And yes, there are reasons unemployment is high outside of lack of literacy. But I do believe that there are people who cannot get work because of the literacy rates. I was on a call with some branch managers of mortgage loan companies. And I had done this before, but they were talking amongst each other and they were like, look, you want to weed out people. Let's say that you have a job posting up there for a loan officer assistant and you're going to get 1,000 resumes. They said, here's how you weed out people. You tell the person to respond to that job post with a certain subject line and put certain information in the body and watch that 99% of people will not be able to follow instructions. 99% of people either don't know how to read or don't read for comprehension or don't follow instructions. The guy said literally he'll have 1,000 people apply for a job and he'll interview 2. This is Wednesday that we had this conversation. I've done that as well. My mother was hiring an assistant for her bookkeeping company, an executive assistant. I did that in 2011, 2012, 2013, sometime like that. Had to have been 2011. Um, I said, just respond to the email with this subject line, and most people didn't do it. So yeah, it's getting serious out there, everybody. The economy, and when the economy gets bad and fewer people are working or fewer people are making the amount of money that they need to make in order to be successful, then people get desperate. And when people get desperate, they get on YouTube scamming, they get on TikTok scamming. They're physically breaking into your house, physically breaking into your car, things like that, which means you have to be good enough to have the resources that you need in order to live in a safe neighborhood and be successful. So I'm going to read your comments here. We're going to head on out because I didn't intend to be on here long. So, hey, True Mystique. Yeah, you're saying, wow, but it makes sense. Yeah. People also cannot do math. So all of those things are net negative. And unfortunately, why many people will be stuck in the permanent underclass. This is true. And the truth is that it's very difficult to learn how to read and do math and write and things like that when you're an adult, which is why it's important for us as upperly mobile Black women to pick the right father of your children so that your kids have a chance as well. This is why I'm always saying to you, the most important financial decision you will ever make is who the father of your children is, because that will give you more of a chance to be able to give your kids a chance should you choose to have them. But yeah, if you can't do eighth grade math, AI algorithms will knock you out before you get a chance. Yeah, so people can't break into tech because they don't have the basic skills. They don't have the basic skills to do it. Princess of the Light is here saying, I do like the video. Voting poll popped up as, oh, thank you. More likes, more videos like this one, please. Yes, I absolutely will do that. Yes, I will. I've been super busy, y'all. And look, I know this is messy, but I might as well. There is this guy, this guy on YouTube. He's a Black male, but that really doesn't have anything to do with it, except for the fact that he's always talking about the Black community negatively, right? And he says he has two jobs, but every day he's doing 2 hour to 4 hour live streams. And I'm like, sir, are you sure you have two jobs? Because every time I see you, you're either live streaming, or you know how you go through your feed and your feed tells you, like, who talked about what that day. He's got like 2 to 4 hour live streams. I'm like, I barely have time to come and talk to you ladies for 20 minutes. My life is so busy. So yeah, but I will come and do more pop-ins in the middle of the day as I can. True Mystique is saying education isn't a priority amongst Black families, and it's sad my grandmother and parents didn't play that. Mine didn't either. My family was very strict on education. You know who wasn't as strict with me about my education was my father. Thinking back, my father was strict about like financial literacy and financial education, but my mother, grandmother, great grandmother, they were the ones who were super strict on like my, you know, academic education. And I don't think my father was like against me getting educated. He just didn't push it as much as the women in my family. Flo Jersey is in the building, just popping in to say good afternoon, everyone. We'll catch the replay later. Thank you for being here. Purple Rain is in the building. I think it's different for Africans, though. We don't play about education. Africans are different. So let's be real. In Virginia, if they're saying 85% of eighth grade Black students are not proficient in math or reading, probably 10% of the people who are, the Black children who are probably of African descent, which is sad, which is really sad. True Mystique is saying, I'm currently under the weather. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Just been down health-wise, so I've been off for a minute. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. I have one job and too tired to film or live stream when I get home. Me too. Me too. I actually work from home, but yeah, I'm too tired. And when I come on, I actually like to have thought about what I'm going to say to you ladies and have, some bullet points or have a video to show you with some things I'm going to add to it, etc. Girl, I'm tired. I don't understand how these people can do 4-hour live streams and claim they have two jobs. I anyway. You know who I'm talking about, huh? Not everyone is Kai Sanat. I have heard of him. I don't know who, I know he's a popular live streamer. I don't know who he is, though, but I have heard of him. True Mistake is saying, I hated how strict my parents were. Now my father isn't the brightest, but he didn't play about academics. I am the smartest in my family, hands down. Yeah, look. I think those of us who came from families that pushed academics, we're blessed people. We really are, because I see how it's made a difference in my life. I see how it has helped me get through doors that I otherwise would not have been able to get through. I see how it has helped me get to promotions and things like that I would not have been able to get had I not had a strong family who taught me the importance of academics, financial literacy, all of those things. So I just requested my part-time job to reduce my hours. I have been falling behind on my full-time, so much paperwork. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I also think the issue is intersectional and regional. In the Northeast, they don't play about advanced degrees. Here's the thing, Purple Rain. If we were to go to Black schools in Boston, I'm sure there's some other places in the Northeast, I think we would find the same issues. I think we would find the same issues in a Boston school as we do in a Virginia school. I do. You think it's true as a New Yorker? I don't know. I think there probably are more upwardly mobile families in the Northeast. Like, I come from the South, and a lot of people in the South were not interested in being upwardly mobile. But I believe if we went to Boston public school system and we looked at the reading proficiency rates, we'd see the same thing. I do know that I saw something, I want to play it for you ladies at some point, where students in Oakland, California are getting A's in school, but they cannot read. There was a whole expose on it. So now when your son, daughter, niece, nephew applies to college, they can show straight A's on a report card and could still get turned down from the best schools if they think that school is a substandard school and, they think that the school just gave them A's just because. This is where we have to play chess, not checkers, right? Lots of districts are trying to do away with Head Start, and it's affecting minorities negatively. Exactly. So this is where we have to be smart as people. It is not the government's job to educate us. It is not the government's job to educate our kids. It's quite frankly not even the government's job to, how do I say this without sounding anti? It is the government's job to make sure that we have an equal playing field with everybody else, but it is not the government's job to ensure that we win individually or collectively. When people say, oh, the Republicans don't care about Black people, they're not supposed to care about Black people. That's not their job. Oh, the Democrats don't care about Black people. It's not the Democrats' job to care about Black people. I don't need the Democrats to care about Black people. I don't need the Republicans to care about Black people. I do expect them to give us a level playing field that if we want to succeed, we can do it. But I don't care who, there is no, it's nobody's responsibility in the United States of America or on planet Earth to uplift us. It's just not. It's just not. So uh, let's see. I'm going to see some of you here. It's very common up here to talk to a random person and they have 2 degrees minimum. So I'm in the DC area or was in the DC area. And yes, in certain pockets, yes, absolutely. Um, but in other places, if you're talking to adults in certain pockets, yes, but other places, not so much. They want to get rid of Head Start and charter schools. Many Black children benefit from the academia of charter schools when public schools are lacking. It's terrible. Yeah. Yeah. This is where you have to have a parent who has um, the ability and the resources to fight for her children. So most of your friends have a master's. I have a master's too. You don't take out any more loans if you don't have to. I'm still paying for my master's degree. My mother had me get it, but I wish I hadn't. I wish I just stayed with a bachelor's degree and that was it. Um, there's a difference between Brockton public schools and Cambridge public schools. Yeah, Cambridge has Harvard. Yeah. And Brockton is really low income. Yes, we were talking about Boston. Yes. True Mystique blames Bush and No Child Left Behind. Isn't that Clinton? This was the precipice of the failure in mass. Yeah. Common Core was also a mess. Yeah. So people are trying to fix things. And the truth is that I don't know if policies by themselves can fix what's happening. And I don't think it's fair for us to completely blame teachers. So, um, you blaming Reaganomics? My grandmother hated Reaganomics. I haven't done enough research on it to know, but Common Core was heavily pushed by Gates, was it? True Mystique is saying, I agree. They can't force you to do anything, but they need to make the avenue available to prosper. It doesn't mean you will. That's on you. That's that's what I believe. That's absolutely what I believe. I felt bad for my teacher, friends who had to teach this crap. I was confused and I was an honor student my whole life. Yeah. Let's see here. Torian Dreams. Hello, hello. Girls on a Plane. I don't think I've seen you before. It is their job to allocate appropriate funds to our schools. All right. So, and we'll have another conversation about this at some point. My understanding, at least in the Baltimore schools, they have allocated funds to the lower income Baltimore schools. In fact, on a per student basis, it's my understanding from the reporting that they have allocated more funds per student to the Black Baltimore schools than the other Baltimore schools, and the students are still failing. The students are still failing. The students can't read, the students can't write, the students can't do math, they can't function in society. So it's not just money, just throwing more money at the problem. My understanding, throwing more money at Black schools is not going to fix the problem. Some of the fixing of the problem actually is from a cultural point of view. Some of it. Some of it, yes, it's from throwing out some of these bad policies. Some of it is, that some of the teachers are not up to par, right? But that's my understanding at least with regards to the Baltimore schools. I would think that other schools and other places have some of the same issues, but that's my understanding. True Mystique is saying, no, Bush, I was in the first grade when this passed. Okay, I thought it was Clinton. They always said it was Clinton that did the Common Core. On top of that, kids are going hungry and depend on reduced free lunch. Now, I agree with you with this. They depend on free breakfast and free lunch. And see, the Republicans are not squeaky clean with me. I know they're the ones that are trying to get rid of free breakfast and free lunch. I am team give every kid free breakfast and free lunch. Just make it across the board. Give every kid free breakfast, free lunch. I'd rather my money go to that than my money go to the Ukraine and to the Middle East. But that's just me, right? That's just me. Poverty is the root of the crime. Yes, I agree with that. I agree. When people are economically desperate, a lot of bad things happen. I agree with that. Sometimes the politicians pay extra to put their kids in private school, but then again, not all of them are effective. Yeah, so politicians definitely pay to put their kids in the private schools, or they move to places where the public schools are so good that they could just put them in public school. So um, there's hierarchy when it comes to private schools as well. This is true. You never qualified for free lunch. I didn't either. I didn't even know they had a free lunch program when I was in middle school and high school. So that should be a standard. Feed the children at school because that's the only time many kids eat. I agree with that. I agree with that. If somebody came to me and said, "Hey, Cherie, we need an extra $200 per year in taxes from you, but all of that money is going to go to feed the kids breakfast, lunch, and dinner," I'd be like, "Here's my money. Take it. Feed the kids. Now, don't send my money over to the Middle East, and don't send my money over to Ukraine, and don't give illegal immigrants $4,000 EBT cards." I'm not with that. I'm not at all. But if you're like, "Look, we have kids, in our schools that need to eat, would you put in an extra $200 for that?" Absolutely. There are two things that I would kick more money in for, like without even blinking. Feeding the kids at school would be one of them. And the second one, I heard a report years ago that our military were fighting in Iraq, and some of them did not have bulletproof vests. Like, I was like, hell to the no, I would kick in for that in order to make sure our soldiers on the ground are safe. Like, you know, but that's me. So Purple Rain is saying, "I've seen private schools that don't have the disability programs that end up screwing people over." Yeah, I don't know as much about that. So parents have to be involved with their kids' schooling. They do. Your mother always made too much money. Yeah. And they need quality food. Yes, you're right. You're right. They do. Um, Most blue states have reduced free lunch programs, and I also think it depends if you have a superintendent that cares. I would agree with that. Yes, the food quality is very trash. Where's the money actually going? Maybe they're investing in the wrong things. This is possible. This is possible, curls on a plane. I don't know where all of the money is going in the reports that I read, because I read a couple of different reports. They didn't say where the money was going. And trust me, if some of the money was going into certain people's pockets in their bank accounts and things like that, I would not be surprised. But then that is an auditing issue, right? Um, you know, but yeah, we definitely need to know where the money is going. Yes, we do. Sometimes the schools and prisoners have the same cafeteria vendors. I've heard that. Uh, you mean with all the money in the military industrial complex and they can't afford? Yes, Teflon. Yes, yes. This is what I heard. It was, again, during the Iraq War. I was very upset about that. Um, They probably need to invest more in tutors since the kids often don't have parents. I would agree with that. Parents at home help them learn after school. Their parents are busy working. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And I would be fine with, "Hey, Cherie, kick in some money so that, we can have tutors." We need to be tutoring, though, 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, 4 year old in the basics as well, you know? So I only have a couple more minutes and then I got to get back to work. So even as an engineer, even as an engineer, the defense companies be chasing us down. Yeah, they do. But then again, what tutors want to work for low pay at a low risk school? Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, something needs to be done, and potentially, it could be something done through Zoom or something like that as well, depending on the age of kids. So, with that, ladies, yeah. So most people, what I was saying in the beginning of our discussion is that Erica Williams has her Breaking Into Tech group, and most people cannot break into tech, according to a person I know who's in that Facebook group. He said that most people are having trouble breaking into tech because they cannot read and they don't have reading comprehension skills. So that's how we got so much on the education. And if you cannot read, if you cannot write, if you cannot do basic eighth grade math, it's going to be very difficult for you to break in the tech. It's probably also going to be difficult for you to break into the trades as well. There's just so much that we cannot do. And so many people think that based on the zip code you live in, based on the zip code you live in, they're going to think you cannot read, therefore you cannot do certain jobs. So on this channel, you all know me. I'm always trying to tell you uh, and suggest to you how to navigate those things. Yes, the trades. Here's the thing about the trades, and I really am going to go. So I talked to a Black gentleman years ago who was an electrician. And he used to teach other young people how to become electricians. And he told me, Cherie, when I have Black kids that come into the school to learn how to be an electrician, they are um, years behind the white students that come to learn how to be an electrician. And part of that is because of the fact that the white kids usually learn the basics of like they're, working with the tools and things like that from their fathers, right? The Black kids didn't have like anybody teach them how to use the tools and things like that. So he had to teach them how to do all of that, like to catch them up. And yes, there are like within the trades, you do need to know how to read. So, uh, being an appliance repair person, I know an appliance repair person who's Black man, who teaches other people, especially he loves to teach other young Black people how to get into appliance repair. Appliance repair, you can make $400 a day to $1,000 a day. It's really, really good money. But one of the things he told me was in appliance repair, what you do once you learn the basics of like how machines work overall, let's say somebody says, hey, I have a whirlpool that needs to be fixed, and they give you the model and the make number. What he told me is he instructs his students as they're driving or as they're preparing for the day and driving to the location to fix the whirlpool dryer, for example, for them to read the instruction manual. Well, if they can't read, they can't read the instruction manual. And if they can't read the instruction manual, then no, they're gonna not be able to get as far in the trades. This is my understanding, again, from people I've been talking to with regards to how they help people break into these higher paying careers. Yeah, the basics where it's at. Medicine, accounting, dentist being gay kept. Yes, absolutely. Why would I want somebody doing my accounting that can't count? Or medicine that can't think outside of the box and can't do the things that need to be done in order to diagnose me properly? Yes, yes, these things are gate kept. They absolutely are. Um, I didn't learn how to change a tire until I was 20 something from YouTube. I can relate to that. Dad wasn't around. Yes. Plumbers make boohoo. Yes, they make a lot of money. They do. But, like, for example, I'm going to take some classes at my local community college, and there are classes for people to become everything from HVAC, plumbers, electricians. Our local college also has like what they call externships, where you're able to like become like you're able to be hired by one of the local companies. But if you can't read and do math at least at a fourth grade level, but preferably be able to read at an eighth grade level. A lot of these kids can't even read at a fourth grade level. Their reading's atrocious. Welding is high paid, electricians too. Yes. You can become an electrical engineer. Yes, you can. Fathers have to want to be in the kid's life. Yes, this is true. Yes, this is true. So we won't go down that road. All I can say, you know what? I don't even want to go down that road because that wasn't the point of my story. But yeah, Black kids are at a disadvantage. Yes, yes. So society doesn't penalize absent dads enough. That's again, like I'm sorry. Yes. I don't want to get into that. Get into that with regards to here. Victoria's in the building. Happy Freedom Friday. Listening while cooking. My kids in the mentoring program freeze when I ask them to tell me the time on my analog watch. Also can't read cursive. That's true. That's true. Yes, some of those old school um, things that we were able to do, things that we were taught old school in the 90s and 80s and 70s, kids can't do today. And it's going to put them at a disadvantage as well. Also, air traffic controllers. I didn't think about that. They make a lot of money, and most people don't know about that. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, but you can't break into these careers. It's very difficult to break into these careers if you're illiterate. My high schoolers also have a hard time reading. I'm doing what I can to teach them, but teachers have a big job on their hands. And this is where it's teachers, but it's also the parents as well. It's also the parents as well. So, and I'm not going to blame single mothers. I'm not like that, right? I empathize with the mother who was left by dad, by the father of the children, and she's there alone and she's trying to hold it down and trying to keep the rent paid and the lights paid and at least keep her kids off drugs and off the stripper pole and all of that stuff, right? So I can empathize or sympathize with that. I can sympathize with that, right? So she doesn't have the time to sit there for 2 hours a day and help her kid read and write and learn when he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, so that by the time he's in high school, he can or she can have a chance. So then we wonder why so many people have a hard time getting ahead. This is a part of it. And then they want to be YouTube famous or they want to scam on YouTube, things like that. So, anyway, I got to go back to work. I didn't expect to be here this long, but, I was speaking with the gentleman. He told me that yesterday. And I said, you know what? I want to come and at least have a discussion about this overall. Victoria's saying, yes, I just told my program administrator that we need to bring the parents in on some of our lessons. I'll be heading the financial education branch of the organization, so I'll do my best. Good for you. Good for you. I believe in you, Victoria. So, all righty then. Thank you so much, ladies. I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.